Good morning. Welcome back to another cold, sunny, blustery day here in eastern North Carolina. And we're going to do some potting up of some winter flowers today. But before we do that, let's talk about all the things that will be coming up soon. I'm going to try to finish digging my path through the wood chips here so I can get the back fence done to the vegetable garden. There's a gate that needs to go right here. I have to get that painted, and hopefully I'll get that put up before Christmas. This bag of compost, that needs to go to the rose garden. This black weed barrier that's currently in the rose garden, I'm going to see if I can get it turned that way. Trust me, you'll see it when it's turned, but I want to see if I can get that done by at least mid-January. This pile of wood chips, I want that gone by March. So that's going to get moved. And if you subscribe, you'll find out where. This area back here that I've been working on and off again throughout the year, I want to try to get that at least cleared out and prepped for the springtime. I've already started planting in there, so hopefully I get that done before the spring. That mess of wax myrtle behind me, believe it or not, I'm going to trim that up. Well, that'll be closer to the spring. But I'm going to trim that up and start making it look like something. So again, you'll have to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video to find out what it will become. So all this and more will be addressed in the next few weeks. If you haven't subscribed, I'm going to keep rattling on. Please subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified. This way you know when I post up a new video. But in the meantime, that's interesting. Let me show you this. Here we are in November, fast approaching December, and my foxgloves still have some flowers on them. That's pretty cool. Hopefully next year there'll be a bunch of baby foxgloves because I let the flowers go to seed and I sprinkled them in this area. Some of the ferns are dying back, which is fine. That's normal. They'll come back in the springtime. Today I'm going to be repotting up some flowers for the late winter, early spring. Let me go show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are at the potting table, and yes, it is shady, which only exacerbates the coldness of the day. Anything below 65 is freezing to me. I don't like the cold. One of the reasons I moved from New York down to eastern North Carolina, so it'll be a little warmer. But today I'm going to be potting up, or repotting I should say, some hellebores. Now I purchased these hellebores last winter. There was, because of the pandemic and the apocalypse and all that good jazz, there was a screw up with the order. Brex was the supplier, and they contacted me and said, we can give you your money back or you can wait until the fall. I said, please ship them in the fall. So I got these a few months ago, and they were bare root, and you can see they've all fluffed up. There's a few of them. I got 4 of them here today. They've fluffed up. And I'm just going to be potting these up from these plastic pots into nice terracotta pots. Now this is a dull and unexciting video, but I'm not feeling 100% physically capable of flipping wood chips or anything else right now today. So instead I'm going to be doing this. It's something that needs to get done while I'm planting this up, because you've all seen this a billion times, and I'm looking for something I need here. Little broken pieces of pottery, just throw it over the drain hole, keeps the soil from compacting around the drain hole, and thus allowing the pot to drain better. Something I learned from Monty Don and Gardener's World. I know there's some possible controversy and other things out there about drainage, etc., but I personally have seen in my 4 short years of gardening, I've only been gardening a very short period of time, I've seen where the roots in the soil get so compacted at the bottom, virtually the water comes out as a drip. It's crazy. And again, if that starts really happening, you probably should repot your plant at that point in time. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Today, like I said, I'm just going to be putting these hellebores into these pots. Now they will grow into these pots. I have 2 others that I got last year that I took care of. And they're fine, and I'll show you those a little later, and I'll also go over the varieties that I have. Now, hellebores typically flower, depending upon where you live, I would say anywhere from, again, depending upon where you live, January to, well, mine were still flowering probably pretty much till June, which is incredible. When I lived in New York, I had hellebores, and they started probably flowering Marchish, April, depending upon the weather. They don't flower when it's super duper 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 cold out. They will flower in cold weather. That's why I kind of think of them as a little winter flower. Sorry, I'm just sizing up my pot here. Yeah, it's good. So in New York, like I said, they flowered probably until March, opening up, and then by May, the flowers are done. The flowers are gone. For some strange reason, I don't know why, because I don't fully understand hellebores a lot. And again, if you watch the channel and if you know more about hellebores than I do, which is probably most of you out there, please feel free to leave a comment below. But I purchased mine at Lowe's, the two that I have currently. Purchased them, they were already in flower, and they kept flowering, like I said, probably until about June, which was crazy to me. I'd never seen maybe even a little later. I wasn't actually keeping score, but it was later than I had gotten previously in New York, which was odd. Hopefully I get the same results out of these again, or these four that I'm potting up today. I still have two more that I need to pot up, but I need pots for them. I thought I had enough pots. Again, it's another story for another day, and that requires a field trip to go get some gardening supplies. Maybe I'll take you along for that. In the meantime, let me finish potting this up, and then we'll move on. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this trick before, and one of the YouTube channels I watch, and maybe you do too, is Garden Answer. It's a woman who lives in Oregon, Laura is her name, and I've seen her do this, and I've actually recently seen Monty Don do this, so I don't know if he's always done it, but either way, I think it's a neat trick, and if you don't know about it, I'm going to share it with you now. Simply, I have my hellebore here in the plastic pot, and I just put it inside the terracotta pot once I've filled it, and then I placed soil around it. And the reason being, I'm just going to shake this so it settles in a bit more, is now I can take this pot out and I have a perfect hole for that to go into. So there you go. Oops, where's my tag? Now this variety that I just potted up is called Pink Frost, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, probably the name is a good hint, it's pink. There's Pink Frost all potted up. I'm gonna pot up the rest, and then we'll take them up on the deck and we'll talk some more about that. Okay, so I have the pots up here on the deck. This spot right here remains mostly in the shade, I would say, for a good chunk of the day, and it gets a lot of afternoon light. Now, hellebores don't like a lot of sun, but I found from growing the hellebores that I had last year that they can tolerate a lot of winter sun, not a problem. In fact, they seem to enjoy it. During the hot southern heat that we get during the summertime, I moved the two hellebores that I had last year plus the new ones I had gotten basically underneath the deck into much shadier spots, and they do well there. Keep them watered, life is good, and there's not a problem. And now that the winter is here or almost upon us, and the temperatures are cooling off and there's less sun to beat on them, especially the hot sun. I moved them up here to the deck. Behind me is the house, obviously, here, so I can look out from the house and I can see the beautiful flowers in January, February, March, as long as they last. The varieties I have, the new ones that I planted up, are Searchlight, Winter Plum, Pink Frost, and Fresco. Those are the ones I planted up today, put them into bigger pots. They will grow and fill into these pots quite readily. The two that I had from last year have filled out. And just to be clear, one of the reasons that they are in pots, again, so I can move them around. I don't have a proper shade garden out in the yard yet. Hopefully I will this upcoming year, maybe next year. We'll see how things go. But at least for now, while they're in the pots, I can move them around. I can arrange them how I want. I don't like, if I want to change up, if I, two whites next to each other, maybe I want to put a white and a pink and then a white, I can do that. Whatever suits my fancy. Plus my wife usually has a say in these things, and she'll turn around and rearrange the pots as needed. And again, in the heat of the summer, I move them off the deck, basically underneath the deck where it's nice and shady. The varieties I got last year, let me touch on those real quick. So this is the first one I received. I keep saying last year. It was actually in January, again, February. I purchased these at Lowe's. This first one is, actually, no, wait. I didn't get these at Lowe's. I got these at a local nursery. My bad. I picked both these up at a local nursery to me. The first one is Cinnamon Rose. That's the name of this one. So the flower, again, if I can find the picture, I'll post up the picture here for you so you can see what the flower looks like. And you can see it's doing quite well. It's filled in the pot. It was as small as the other ones before. And this one, I'll probably trim out some of the older dead growth in the next few weeks, and it'll reflush with new growth very shortly here. This one is called Ice and Roses. Again, picked up at a local nursery. And if we zoom in close here, you could already see, apologize, the camera's giving me a rash of poop here. You can already see there's some new growth there. There we go, some new growth coming up. Right there. Though this one looks a little sparse, probably by February, March, definitely by March, this thing will probably be as flushed as the other one. Okay, so that's going to be about doing it for today. One last thing here. One last thing I have to talk to you about, and that's Ernie Hatmaker. She has a YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link to that below. And she recently gave me a shout out on her channel. But she gave me a shout out, and I've gotten a couple of her subscribers. And thank you very much to all my new subscribers for subscribing to the channel. Hopefully you find me fun, entertaining, and I don't know, maybe we will learn something together. There's another channel. I can't remember the gentleman's name right now. I'm going to throw his link also in the bottom. And though he didn't give me a shout out, he still has a pretty awesome channel. He's an ex-military veteran. Ex-military veteran? He's a military veteran. So go check out his channel. He also has a gardening channel. It's pretty fun. I'll leave those links below. And, oh, one more thing. Besides Christmas coming, winter is coming. And we all need to stay warm during winter. It does even get a little chilly here down in the south. Like I said, today's high is going to be about 50. It's a little chilly, so I throw on this nice hoodie here. You too can pick up your snazzy green hoodie over at my Teespring store. I'll leave a link to that below, so please go check that out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give a follow on Instagram. I often post up pictures there that you won't see here on YouTube. I try to keep the content a little different there. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.